What if I told you the government once passed laws, not to save lives, but to erase them, quietly, legally, and permanently? This isn't a dystopian novel. This happened, and it could happen again. In the early 20th century, America, the land of liberty and freedom, was hiding a sinister secret. Behind closed doors, people deemed unfit to reproduce. The poor, the mentally ill, people with epilepsy, disabilities, or even just low intelligence, were forcibly sterilized by their own government. Hospitals became prisons. Doctors became executioners of futures. And the victims often never knew, until it was too late. It began with an idea: eugenics. Born in Europe, but weaponized in the United States, eugenics was the twisted belief that society could be cleansed by preventing undesirable people from having children. By 1907, Indiana passed the world's first compulsory sterilization law. Soon, dozens of other states followed, and the movement gained disturbing momentum, with slogans like "Better babies, better society." It sounded like progress, but in reality, it was genetic genocide in disguise. Imagine being a young woman like Carrie Buck. She was institutionalized in Virginia for being feeble-minded, though her only crime was poverty and being a victim of abuse. In 1927, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Buck versus Bell that it was constitutional to sterilize her against her will. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes chillingly said, "3 generations of imbeciles are enough." With that ruling, the floodgates opened. More than 60,000 people in the U.S., many poor, many children, were sterilized. No trials, no choice, no mercy. But it didn't stop in the U.S. Inspired by America's eugenics laws, Nazi Germany passed its own sterilization programs, and we all know where that ended. Even after World War II, the sterilizations continued quietly in places like Sweden, Canada, Australia, and Japan, targeting indigenous communities, black populations, and the disabled. It wasn't until the always that many of these programs finally ended. But by then, tens of thousands of futures were erased. Here's the truly terrifying part. Some forced sterilizations were still happening in the U.S. as late as 2010s, in prisons, detention centers, under the radar. How many never spoke out? How many still don't know what was done to them? This is not just history. This is a warning. Because whenever fear meets control and science is twisted into policy, we risk repeating the same horrors. Mass sterilization wasn't a mistake. It was a decision, and every decision has a victim. If this story shocked you, you need to hear more of them. Subscribe now for real stories the world tried to erase and the truth they can't bury.